She was just walking home after a long day when she saw him. A tiny boy, lost, alone, shivering in the rain. Most people would have walked past, but she didn't. She did something so simple, so small, that nobody could have guessed it would change her life forever. What happened next? It was beyond anything she or anyone could imagine. It was a rainy evening, the kind where the streets glisten with reflections of neon lights and puddles collect at every corner. Most people were rushing home, eager to escape the cold drizzle, huddled under umbrellas or inside their cars. But in the middle of this ordinary city scene, something, or rather someone, stood out. A small boy, no more than 7 or 8, wandered alone on the sidewalk. His clothes were damp and torn, his shoes worn out, and his tiny backpack seemed far too big for him, sagging under the weight of a few meager belongings. He looked around nervously, clutching his bag to his chest, glancing from one passerby to another with wide, uncertain eyes. The world was moving too fast, and he felt invisible. Most people would have ignored him. After all, who stops in a busy city street for a lost, hungry child? But she did. She had been walking home after a long day at college, her bag heavy with groceries, her mind juggling deadlines and errands. And yet, when she saw him, something inside her shifted. She couldn't explain it. Maybe it was the desperation in his eyes. Maybe it was the fear she recognized all too well. But she knew she couldn't just walk past. She approached him carefully, trying not to scare him further. "Hey," she said softly. "Are you okay?" The boy flinched, unsure whether to trust her. She smiled gently and held out the small container of food she had just bought for herself. "I was going to eat this," she said, "but I think you need it more than I do." For a moment, he hesitated. Suspicion lingered in his eyes, as if he had been let down too many times to believe someone would truly help. But hunger and hope won over fear, and slowly, cautiously, he accepted the meal. She knelt beside him, talking softly, trying to make him feel safe. And in that small act, the sharing of a simple meal, the boy's face lit up for the first time that day. She didn't know it yet, but this single, spontaneous act of kindness would set off a chain of events neither of them could have imagined, a chain that would lead her to unimaginable experiences, life-changing surprises, and a connection with a world she had only dreamed about. It all began with a rainy evening, a lost boy, and a girl who chose to care when nobody else would. The next morning, she woke up still thinking about the boy. She kept replaying the moment in her mind, his small hands clutching the food, the way his eyes brightened, even if only for a moment. She wondered where he had come from, why he was alone, and if he was safe. Little did she know, he wasn't just any lost child. He was connected to someone incredibly powerful. A sudden knock on her door startled her. Standing there was a man in a tailored suit, holding a sleek envelope and exuding a calm authority that made her heart skip a beat. "Good morning," he said politely. "We need to speak with you about something very important regarding a child you helped yesterday." Confused and slightly nervous, she followed him to a quiet office, unsure what this could mean. That's when the truth began to unfold. The boy she had helped was the son of a billionaire, a man known not only for his immense wealth, but also for his influence around the world. The child had wandered away during a private school outing, and despite every precaution, nobody noticed him until he was spotted in the rain. News of a stranger who had cared for him reached the billionaire, and he was determined to find this girl. She listened in disbelief as the man explained how her small act had not gone unnoticed. The billionaire wanted to meet her personally to express his gratitude. It was overwhelming. She had only done what felt right. Yet here she was about to meet one of the richest people in the world. In her heart, she still felt like an ordinary girl, but she had no idea that this meeting would mark the beginning of an extraordinary journey, one that would change her life forever. Meeting the billionaire felt surreal. She had expected a formal thank you or perhaps a small gesture of appreciation, but this was something entirely different. The man before her was warm, composed, and surprisingly down to earth. He spoke with genuine gratitude, recounting how worried he had been when his son disappeared and how her simple act of kindness had turned a frightening night into a safe and comforting one for the boy. You didn't know it, but you made a huge difference, he said, his tone sincere. She felt her cheeks warm, shaking her head. I gave him my meal. I didn't do it for anything in return, she replied softly. But the billionaire insisted, smiling. That's exactly why it means so much. True kindness doesn't expect anything back, but it deserves recognition. Then came the part she never saw coming. He offered her an opportunity she had only dreamed of. An internship at his company, mentorship with some of the brightest minds in the industry, and access to experiences that most people only read about in magazines. It was overwhelming, and for a moment, she wondered if she was dreaming. And just when she thought the surprises were over, he added another twist. There's something else I'd like to show you, he said. Later that day, a line of the billionaire's most luxurious supercars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, arrived at her modest apartment. They gleamed in the sunlight, a dazzling parade of wealth and generosity. She couldn't believe her eyes. Her small, selfless choice had led to an unimaginable display of gratitude and opportunity. But beyond the cars and the fame, she realized something more important. Kindness had the power to open doors she never knew existed, and her life would never be the same again. The story of her kindness quickly spread, first through social media and then through local news outlets. People were captivated, not by the wealth of the billionaire, but by the courage and compassion of a simple girl who had given a meal to a lost boy. She became a symbol of hope, showing that even the smallest act of generosity could have a profound impact. The billionaire, inspired by her actions, decided to take things further. He launched a community initiative in her neighborhood, aimed at helping children and families who were struggling. Schools received funding for better resources, local shelters were supported, and programs were created to ensure that no child would feel lost or hungry again. It was a ripple effect, spreading kindness and opportunity far beyond what anyone had imagined. Neighbors came together to celebrate her, organizing a small gathering outside her apartment. People she had never met before stopped to thank her, sharing stories of how her actions had inspired them to be kinder in their own lives. The boy she had helped returned with his parents to personally express their gratitude, his shy smile lighting up the crowd. Through all the attention, she remained humble, always reminding everyone that her actions weren't about recognition or reward. They were about doing the right thing. The community embraced her humility, finding inspiration in the way she had turned a single moment of compassion into a movement of hope. News outlets continued to share her story, and thousands of messages poured in from around the country. Children, parents, and ordinary people wrote to say how her actions had inspired them to help others. In that moment, she realized something powerful. Kindness doesn't just change lives, it multiplies, touching more people than you could ever imagine. The story of her kindness didn't just end with supercars or media attention. It became a lesson for everyone who heard it. People everywhere were inspired by the simple truth. One small act of compassion can create a ripple effect far beyond what you might ever imagine. She hadn't set out to be famous, nor had she expected rewards. But her decision to help a lost boy changed not only her life, but also the lives of countless others. The billionaire himself spoke publicly about the experience, sharing how her selflessness reminded him of the importance of humanity. Sometimes, he said, it's not money or power that makes a difference. It's a caring heart and a willingness to act. His words resonated with thousands, sparking conversations about empathy, kindness, and the impact of small gestures in everyday life. For the girl, the experience was humbling. She realized that life-changing moments often come from the most unexpected places: a rainy evening, a lost child, and a decision to do what felt right. She continued her studies, pursued her dreams, and carried with her the confidence that even ordinary people can make extraordinary differences in the world. And as for the boy, he never forgot the girl who had offered him hope when he felt lost and alone. Their bond remained a quiet but powerful reminder that kindness has a lasting impact. Her story serves as a beacon for all of us. It shows that wealth and power are impressive, But genuine human connection and empathy are priceless. So, the next time you see someone in need, remember her example. Step forward, help in whatever way you can, and know that your actions, no matter how small, can create a ripple of change that might reach farther than you ever imagined. Because in the end, it's not the supercars or the fame. It's the heart behind the action that truly matters. And that's how one simple act of kindness turned an ordinary girl's life upside down in the most incredible way. It wasn't the supercars, the fame, or the gifts that mattered. It was the choice to care, to help someone in need. Remember, even the smallest act of compassion can spark a chain reaction you never imagined. So, the next time you see someone who needs help, don't hesitate, because you never know whose life you might change. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share this story to inspire others.